The No Nonsense Roundtable. It's a weekly show broadcast on Rochester, New York's 50,000-watt iHeart radio station, News Radio Wham 1180. The host, Dom Genova, interviews guests from all walks of life, all with amazing stories to tell. What you are about to hear is a recording of a previous broadcast without the breaks and commercials. Now, here's host Dom Genova.
Well, welcome everybody to another edition of the No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm Dom Genova, your host, every Saturday right here at 10 o'clock on News Radio Wham 1180. And if the show is about people you know that you should know more about and people that you don't know that have a wonderful path in life that you should know, well, this is in the second category because I have a wonderful woman in front of me. Her name is Nita Brown. And she owns a business here in Rochester, but that's not the only thing about her that makes her interesting. It's her path in life. And she has this business. It's on Park Avenue. It's called Mansawear. Is that how you pronounce that?
That's correct. Mansawear.
Mansawear. And she has a long story about how she got where she is today, and it's fascinating. So let's start telling people about your story, how you started out, where you were born, and how you got here.
Well, I was born in Ghana, and I lived in Ghana and in Europe throughout my life, but I had a wonderful upbringing. I left Ghana at the age of 7. My father was a diplomat, a lawyer and a diplomat. And so we had the fortune to live in the Czech Republic, Prague, Poland, different places. I did all my schooling, elementary school, some in Ghana, some in the UK, in England. And wherever we traveled, we had international schools. But I finished high school in Ghana and came to the States. So I finished my high school. We had the British system in Ghana. So you finish high school at age 19 because of the GCS. So I came to Columbia University.
What's the GCS?
General Certificate of Education. It's a British system. So it was a British system. So you go to school for 19 years. And in the British system, college is for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which is here is 18 and college is for 4. Mm-hmm. So it's a wash. So I came to Columbia University, studied history, loved it. Every summer I went to Geneva to work for the UN, and I worked for the World Health Organization. I learned so much. You know, it was there that I learned that leprosy was a waterborne disease. I used to believe that leprosy was a curse from the Bible. That's and working at the UN, I learned about, no, there's a waterborne disease just like malaria. Get sick. So I worked for the UN. Every summer I went back to work. And then when I graduated, I stayed in Geneva for a year and then came back, and I just couldn't live in Switzerland anymore. So I came back to New York, interviewed with a class of 1994 and got a job working for a management consulting firm, which gave me more opportunities to travel and work around the world. So I've literally lived on every continent.
And so before you came, I mean, how many times did you move? I mean, it sounds like...
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot, but it was, we went to boarding school. So while my parents, when we got to be like 11 years old, I was in boarding school in Ghana.
Okay.
Right, so to have continuity, because my parents were always gone. So we're in boarding school for 9 years. You come home, 9 months. Okay. You come home in the summer and the Christmas, and then you went back to boarding school. So I did that until I graduated high school. And all of us, there were 4 of us, siblings. So we all lived in different, and it's all in Ghana. So I did all my school in Ghana. Great upbringing, have fun. It was great. Learned a lot. Basically, because my parents were traveling all the time, my grandmother was really the person who was like the guardian while we were in school.
So I've always wondered about people that are in boarding school. I mean, you don't see your family all that much, right?
No, but I always tell my daughter it was one of the best times of my life. You are in school with about 400 girls, ages 11 to 19. You are in different houses. It's a whole different community. I thrived on it. I thought it was one of the best things that happened to me. Great education. You learn how to be independent. Think of it like the military. I mean, Ghanaian boarding schools were a bit strict, right? They were much stricter. But, it's very regimented, right? You get up by the bell. Everything is done by the bell. You eat by the bell. You play by the bell. You learn how to lay your bed, be very neat, playtime. So
So it sounds like you're one of the things you're learning is discipline, disciplining yourself, right?
And I think I always tell my daughter, college is not smart, it's discipline. Stay in the course. Everything you do, stay in the course, be disciplined, and sticking with it. Because by the time you do it so many times, not only do you get the skill, you get the expertise, which is what, what's his name? The guy in Canada, 10,000 hours. Oh, I forgot the name. I'll think about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So here I am. I finished Columbia University, history degree, went to management consultant, ended up working in Australia, London.
Okay, so you graduated college and you got a job in management consulting. But what experience did you have? You didn't have any experience in management consulting.
No, you don't. So what they do is they come to all the Ivy Leagues, and you only get the job because of your GPA. So what they put you into management training programs. So in your team, you would definitely have somebody from MIT, somebody from whatever, history major, you write well. Somebody who's from MIT has a lot of quantitative background. They put you in teams, and that's how you learn. And you go through a structured learning program, and that's how you pick up. So in a team, you will have a principal, a partner, all that, and then an analyst who will do all the PowerPoint presentation, the Excel spreadsheet, and that's how you learn.
Wow, that is so incredibly different than my college journey, because I just can't conceive of being able to rub elbows with people that have that type of background or expertise, and that's got to be a tremendous advantage. I mean, getting hired to do management consulting right out of college is almost incomprehensible to me that you can actually do that.
But you
don't have experience yet.
You don't, but you are one of the team members. So you're doing all the analysis, right? You're doing all the PowerPoint. So when somebody's giving you the text, you're putting it together. You're doing all the number crunching, right? Because the senior partner of management is not going to be doing the number crunching. You are doing it. Okay.
So let me ask you my simple, silly question I ask everybody. Yeah. When you were a little girl, what did you want to do? I mean, obviously, where you are now couldn't be conceived when you were, 10. So what at 10 years old, what do you want to do?
Well, what I wanted to do was run a big, big corporation. I don't know why I thought I would be a powerful person running a big corporation, but it kind of made sense. Yeah, I saw my father. I saw my grandmother Mansa, who was never formally educated, owned 3 motels, a nightclub, never formally educated in Ghana.
Really?
Yes. So I'm seeing her, right?
So she's your role model.
Yeah, I saw her, and I saw my father. Of course, he was Oxford educated as a barrister, had his own chambers. But I saw people around me who were running businesses. Yeah.
What kind of business did you conceive you would have?
I think from reading a lot of Mills and Boon's books, all those romance books, I don't know, some big corporation. I have no idea what I'll be doing, but it would be some big, massive corporation. I'll be heading it. No clue what it was. But here I am in a tiny corporation, not even corporation, tiny.
We'll talk about that in a second. As a matter of fact, at the end of the show, we call it the retail section of the show. So retail section of the show. So maybe sell some stuff for you. But that's a fascinating story. I don't think I've come across anybody with quite that worldliness before in all these interviews. So we're going to get into that. Well, right after this break. Well, welcome back to the No Nonsense Roundtable. We're talking to Nita Brown, who's had another Nita, by the way. My wife's name is Nita. Everybody knows that from listening to the show, but there's another Nita here. And she has a business that she started, and it's Mansawear. Now, Mansa was your grandmother's name? Was that it?
It's my grandmother's name, and Mansa, it's a Ghanaian name. It means to be the 3rd consecutive girl born to the same parents. So if it had been a male, it would have been Mensa, like the brainy people.
Okay.
So I really admire my grandmother, her discipline, her tenacity, but her worldly knowledge, right? For somebody, like I said before, never traveled outside of Ghana, apart from go to the neighboring country, Ivory Coast, was not formally educated. She had 3 motels, She ran a liquor store. First, she used to sell ammunition to hunters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what she used to sell. And then she switched to liquor, selling liquor.
Okay.
So, incredible, smart like a whip. So that's why, yeah. So I figured if I'm going to name a company after anybody, it's got to be her. So I did Mansawear, and then I tried to go and trademark it. And guess what? There's a Mansa Israel selling clothing.
Somebody took that right.
Selling clothing.
Well, before the show, we were talking about different people, and Desjambra Robinson. You were looking at her book, and she's got a wonderful book. I hope this helps somebody. And she was a guest a while back, and you were interpreting what the name meant.
I was just say DES is from French, and yeah.
So you're multilingual.
I speak Ashanti, and which is the language in Ghana. It's also called Chi Asante. I speak French, but I think my written French is now better than my spoken French because I don't speak it that much, right?
Yeah.
And English. And my written French was very good because while I live in France, I have an adopted French family. And my French father never spoke a word of English. But we always communicated. Every week I send him my journal, what I'm doing, and he'll respond back to me. But he's dead now, so he died 3 years ago. So.
we are so Nita is so gifted. I'm so not gifted. I mean, I took French in high school. If you want to know where the library is, I can tell you. That's it. That's all. That's all. Oh, yes, that's all I can. That's all. I've never had to use that. So let's talk about Mansawear. Now, when did you start this? What would you call it? A boutique, or I mean, how would you categorize?
I'm a clothing designer.
Okay,
and it's a boutique. And so right now it's getting the brand, I've been establishing the brand. Anyway, it was the boutique physical store was opened in 2014. That was when the ribbon cutting was done. But I started designing clothes, I guess, not by osmosis. It was by osmosis because I picked it up from my mom. My mom, because of my father's job, always had dressmakers, fabric makers coming to the house, making dresses for her. So I think I picked that up automatically. So I arrived in Rochester in 2000 from Georgetown University. That's where I got my MBA in International Management and Finance. Kodak recruits me. So I come to Rochester because of Kodak in 2000, 23 years ago. Go to the YMCA. I leave to go to work. And two women who were my locker mates, they were like, we really like the way you dress. You need to start thinking about the way you dress, selling it. Didn't think anything of it. So one of them one day said, you know what? I could get you angel funding if you want to do this then. So I tried, but I failed because I couldn't get the production right. So I just went on my business. Just, every time I go to Ghana, I would do a trunk show and I bring stuff back for people who wanted to dress like me. And I think in 2010, Mary Chow, who used to be the editor for the DNC, saw me at a party and loved what I was working and did a whole piece on me. It was a front page, November 2010 in the DNC, massive article, great pictures. So I started getting people calling me. And that's when I realized, maybe I may have something going on here. So what I did is I decided to test the market, right? I just didn't want to open a business. It just could be my friends having pity upon me. So I went to Fashion Week. That was the second year of Fashion Week of Rochester. I went to the second show, set up as a vendor, collected every piece I've ever owned from everyone, and decided to test how people will react. Because the people who Fashion Weeks bring into Rochester for Fashion Week are people whose path I would never cross. People live in the suburbs, So my world would have been Kodak people at Blessed Sacrament Church, people around the Park Avenue area. So then I just watch how people's reaction were to my clothing and my design. So that's when I started, this may have legs because I'm really getting live customer data research.
Right.
So that's when I opened the boutique. So I do all the design. The fabrics are from Ghana. The production is done in Ghana. So I work with a woman-owned business in Ghana. They have about 300 employees. So I contract with them in Ghana. And they are the ones who does all the sewing, all the production.
And how would you describe the fashion itself? It's gone inspired, but I mean, it's so Nita is very involved with the Indian community group, and and they obviously, a sari is a sari.
Right.
There's not too much. This is not like traditional Ghana clothing. This is
basically what I'm wearing right now,
and it's beautiful.
It's a Mansawear.
Yeah.
So the only thing that's different is the fabric. So my design concept. So the Ghanaian women wears a skirt and a top.
Okay.
Right, and then they have a third piece where they use to wrap up their baby with.
Ah.
All right, so
okay.
That's the traditional Ghanaian woman dress. What I've done is taken what I wear, taken the fabric. My silhouettes are mostly classic cuts, very streamlined, very shaped, very classic cuts. But I do dresses, I do skirts, and I do tops. And so the only difference is the print, fabric I'm using. But most of the style, my goal is whatever I wear, I can wear with anything in your closet. So what I'm wearing right now, I can put on boots and a brown sweater. I'm good for the fall. So that's the design concept. Make it so, I call it a mashup. Very flexible. You can wear your Mansawear piece with things already existing in your closet.
And it sounds like you have something that is local. You're not going to find any other place, right?
It's very
and that's the thing of women's clothing, obviously. I mean, is that you want to have something that is not like you don't want to show someplace with exactly the same outfit as somebody else. Isn't that kind of the rule?
Exactly, right? Exactly. But the other also point is the experiential experience of coming into a boutique. We tend to buy things in solids. Right? We buy solid color plain. It's one color. And if we have patterns, it's only like 4 or 5. Argyle, polka dot, houndstooth, paisley. And here you come, it's an array of profusion of colors, different designs, different circles, stripes, whatever you want. So I think that experiential feeling you get from walking into a boutique, all the fabrics are there, you can touch it. Everything is 100% cotton, 300 plus count cotton. Everything I wear, it doesn't shrink, it doesn't fade. 20 years from now, you're still wearing it. I'm still wearing some of my mom's clothes that are 50 years old.
Well, I can certainly say sometimes I'm really bothered by the fact that people can't see on the radio, because what you're wearing is absolutely beautiful. And with that, well, let's give everybody you have a web address, I'm sure.
Yes.
What's your web address? And then we're going to have to go into a news break.
Right. www.mansawear.com, and it's MANSAWEAR.com.
Mansawear.com. Okay, and we'll be right back right after this. Well, welcome back to the No Nonsense Roundtable. We're talking to Nita Brown, who owns Mansawear. I would say it's a boutique women's clothing store on Park Avenue in Oxford, right?
Right. We do have a few men's stuff.
Oh, really?
90% is women, 10% is men. Do a lot of custom work for men. So basically, it's we do custom clothing.
Okay. Right.
It's a 28-day from order to delivery. You select a style.
And what kind of things do you suits or shirts or ties or what?
For men, normally it's shirts and a few pants.
Okay.
But remember, I'm working in print a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And so I do have solid prints as well, solid colors. We do ties, bow ties from scratch. So if you want to tie, and then ready-made bow ties for men. So shirts mostly and tunics. And for women, it's, skirts, jackets, pants, ensembles.
Well, the way I'm looking at this as a little bit of a marketing guy, which I consider myself to be, is that this is sort of a unique clothes, but also kind of a unique experience. I mean, there's not a lot of this around where you can go someplace and get something custom made or modified the way that you want, right?
No, yes. In that sense, yes. It's a unique experience. It's very experiential because you walk in, you touch fabric that you haven't seen.
And get to know you.
Get to know me. We get to talk. You get to measure. You can also come in. We always have stuff ready to wear it, because a lot of times it's hard for people to visualize what a fabric would look like in a dress. So we always have stuff that people can just pick up and go. And if you pick something up that's your size, we immediately take 20% off because we consider them samples.
Ah, okay.
Right, because it's already made samples, or you can place an order for it. But
well, what's your most successful product? I mean, is it blouses?
Actually, my most successful is jackets.
Really?
Jackets and skirts. Yeah. And I think the reason, because you can wear a jacket 3 seasons, right? You can wear it in the spring, in the fall, in the summer.
Right.
Whereas a lot of dresses, you kind of stuck with one season. You can vary it a lot, but not as much as with jackets, with long boots, short boots, sweaters, layer in it with jackets. Yeah.
Yeah. I as a guy, I get that, because every man needs a navy blue blazer that fits you really well, that you can wear anytime going anywhere, casual and not casual or whatever. So I kind of get that concept.
Absolutely.
Now, how many people work here in Rochester for you? How many?
Well, so on a day-to-day basis, I have 2 people who work for me, and then I reach out when I need people, when I need like services to be done, So instead of having people on staff, I have contracts.
Okay.
So like right now we're shooting for Fashion Week, getting all the production, all the collection shooted. So I work with a wonderful woman called Ria. So we get all our images shot. Because Mansawear, I want to be a regional brand. I'm not going to New York City or Atlanta. I'm staying right here, Western New York brand. So when we do our photo shoots, we're doing it places where people may recognize images of the building. This must be Rochester. This must be Dinosaur in the background. That's what we do.
I love this concept because I love Rochester. I'm just like one of Rochester's biggest fans.
I'm taking a page from Wegman's book. We stay right here.
Yeah.
We are growing. We're a regional brand. We're going to stay here. We want to move out. We're not going to New York City or anywhere else. Plus, Rochester has been good to me. I mean, who knew I would start a business based on Ghanaian fabric and thrive? Next year is our 10th year.
Well, 10 years.
10 years next year. So for the first 7 years of the business's life, I had another job. I worked for the Rochester City School District doing strategic planning. And so it was always run as a part-time. And in 2020, in COVID, I made it into a full-time job.
Okay. So that's how we know people in common.
Yes.
Dr. Vargas.
Yeah.
Dr. Okay. Vargas. There you go. I love the idea that you have this Rochester thing. There are Rochester things. I mean, the Red Wings are Rochester things. Zweigels is a Rochester.
Well, Mansawear is going to be a Rochester thing.
I know. I like this. I like this idea. Too many times people chase the money. You know what I mean? They do something that they love and whatever, and then they sell out to somebody, and the place becomes big and national or whatever. And it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So you sound like you want to be true to your core, right?
The other thing is, I'm going to produce in Ghana. The fabrics are from Ghana. So why do I want to move to New York City or Atlanta?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna hit you with a really bad question. What have you produced that you were like, oh, this is gonna be great, and it wasn't great? What have you tried that didn't work?
Well, it was a particular style of a dress, and I tell you why it didn't work. Because when it came out, I looked at it, and the shape was too much of a black woman's shape. And 60% of my customers are white women. And so I was like, oh my God, it's not going to fit them well.
Okay.
We got to do too much alterations on this dress. And it's just one of those things like...
Just the cut of the dress.
The cut of the silhouette of the dress.
Okay.
Right now, I'm still... Because the first 7 years was part-time, we still do a lot of try and errors. Now we're kind of settling into, okay, this is what it should be. So we do a lot of trying.
And the thing that amazed you in its success was the jackets, right?
Yeah. Well, what amazed me was the customers. I thought it would be more black people like me. Okay. It turned out to be more white women.
Really?
Yes.
Well, let's go there because let's go there because we're talking at 12,000 people.
Yeah.
And my job obviously is to illustrate people's businesses and their lives, and this is something that maybe they may not have considered, but they should consider, because it sounds like it's really fast. It sounds like fascinating. It sounds like fascinating, colorful for me. Something that you can't get someplace else.
Right. That's true.
Which is really kind of cool. So,
and not all the fabrics are bright. Some of them are subdued colors. Some of the prints are very subdued. I guess, like everything else, I'm thinking of me. I'm a Black woman, so I'm thinking, okay, it's going to appeal to other Black women who are like me, professionals, have disposable income, all that. So, but when I opened the shop, I wanted to have a place where there's a lot of pedestrian traffic. And I live in the neighborhood, so I'm just going to open where I live. A lot of pedestrian traffic, and I wanted to have beautiful things in the window so people would just stop, walk in and buy. And basically, that's what I got. But I expected more Black people, but no, my demographic is almost 60% white women.
Well, that's very interesting. I guess to word it, like pretty is pretty, I guess.
That's what it is. I think basically, if it's beautiful and it's well made, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it looks good on me. At the end of the day, that's what I learned.
Well, I like the idea.
Beautiful in it. Why not?
Well, I like the idea of something completely unique too. I mean, you buy something. I remember when I was a young boy. It's going to be kind of a little bit of a strange story, but my parents for Christmas gave me a chess set, which I still have. Right. And I said to my sister, I said, this is wood carved. I says, but it's not really, it's like, man, with little defects in it. She said to me, a human being made that.
Yeah.
She goes, a human being made that. You know where it came from. It's made in France, actually. And she goes, that's what you get. You get something that's special that somebody put their heart into. And I was like, I still have it. I can show it to you here before you leave. But I guess that's the thing too. You have a connection not only with the product, but the people that made the product.
And because everything is being made one at a time, because it's not. So the factory I work with, if I place an order for 100 pieces of the same thing, they will use a machine to cut. But because it's 1, 10, 5, it's always free cut.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we're heading into another break, and we're going to talk more, a little more retail after this. Well, welcome back. We're talking to Nita Brown, who is the owner of Mansawear, a clothing company on Park Avenue in Oxford, mainly 90% a women's clothing company. And we were talking about her products and what she does and whatever. So I'm fascinated by this concept that you are sort of custom made, but not custom made. It's unique pieces that you can't get anyplace else. And you want to stay Rochester. Yeah. You want to stay in Rochester and be a Rochester company, which really kind of is cool to me, because a lot of people expand. They expand. So one of the problems with small businesses is expanding to the point where you lose your quality or your connection with the local people, local economy. And I really respect the fact that you want to stay here and be a Rochester company.
Rochester has been great to me. Mm-hmm. And of all the places, now remember, I've lived everywhere.
I know.
I've lived over every continent. So when I say this is a really nice place, I mean it.
Yeah.
I really mean
it. You're kind of preaching to the choir here, because my thing, I tell people all the time, you have to live someplace else to realize how nice this place is. Yeah.
Right? So the only thing that I don't like about it is the incessant snow, and traveling is a pain.
Well, and the wildlife. We already had this.
I'm living in the city. So,
I didn't want to tell you, but there's 6 deer who just crossed in front of the window over here, and you're looking at me rather than the deer, and they would terrify you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and
I was thinking.
Yeah, and I have a pileated woodpecker who's lived here for a while, and she's in love with me, and she pecks out the window every once in a while. So I'm totally prepared to give you some counseling if that happens here.
Right.
But no, the thing about Rochester is a great place to live, and it's a great place to do business. And you sound like, in Park and Oxford, that's a pretty nifty area.
It's nice. It's very walkable. But apart from that, living here is easy to do stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Buffalo is not that far. Don't forget, we have the 4th largest city in North America right on our door. Mm-hmm. Toronto is closer to us than New York City.
Yep.
Right?
No,
you can do a whole lot.
A lot of great things here.
You can do snow. You Yeah, I love the 4 seasons. You're forced to change your clothing and your whole outlook on life 4 times in very dramatic ways.
Yeah.
Because the summers are intense, the winters are intense.
I got it.
You got great companies like
Wow.
Wegmans. I mean, when I came here and they took me to the it was like Migros in Switzerland with Dina and Duluc. I'm like, oh my God, where is this place?
I know, it's like the Disneyland of grocery stores.
Exactly.
You know, it's just so the other Nita, the other Nita says that in the winter we have a concrete sky. A concrete sky. So that really explains it very, very well. When you can get past that and the lake effect snow, you're doing okay. So let's talk a little bit more about. Well, let's give everybody the web address again.
Right, the web address again is www.mansawear.com, and it's MANS as in Sam WEAR.com. It's Park and Oxford. That's the location. It's a really tiny shop. It's about 300 square feet. It's really small. But believe me, when you come in there, you can spend hours. On average, my appointments are for 2 hours. And I do give people free styling consultation. So if you want to experience it, book an appointment, call me. It's 30 minutes free styling consultation. Bring a blouse, bring a top, or let's say bring a top, bring a pair of shoes so we can have fun while we do styling. Because most people are not used to working in print. When I say print, I mean fabric. So come in and bring something solid, and just you'll be amazed how easy it is to style with print. And I think most people hesitate because of that. Or they think, oh, I'm too short, I'm too tall, this is not going to look good on me. Well, you won't know until you try it. So I always tell people, here's a free consultation. Come in, set it up, bring something, let's play, have fun with it. And if you like something, buy it. If not, just experience it. That's the only way you're going to know.
Yeah, the concept I'm getting from this is art.
It is art.
It's
in a
art.
sense.
Yeah, in a sense, you're designing art. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at what you're wearing now. It's lovely.
I decided to wear it with orange. Right, I picked the orange, one of the orange, because I could have just picked pink or fuchsia or gray or bronze to work with, but I decided, today's my orange day, so I'm gonna have orange eyeglasses, orange sweater, orange earrings.
Yeah, well, I was always fascinated as a boy because I had 3 sisters, but about what goes with what. You know, I wouldn't know what goes with what when it comes to women's clothes. But that's part of what you're talking about. What goes with what?
What goes with what?
You know, you don't wear this with that. It just doesn't. Some things work, right, and some things don't work.
Some things don't work, and I always tell people, which is from my grandmother, look to nature. If it comes in nature, it works. So think about eggplant. Think about eggplant. It is purple, aubergine, and green. It works. It works in nature. It works on you.
That's a fascinating thought.
That's what my grandmother always said.
I never thought about that before.
Look at nature, and if it works in nature, it works on you. Now, the question becomes, how do you configure it on your body?
Right.
Because you know the colors work in nature.
Right.
How do you configure it on your body?
Well, it's got to have something to do with your personality too. Are you extrovert or an introvert? And
Correct.
do you want to make a flash when you come into a room,
exactly.
right? Or are you too shy for that?
Or you just want to come smoothly, or you want to come in, understated, because you can do understated, right?
Yeah.
If you think of orange, orange and green, right?
Yeah.
And naturally, when you see the orange, depends on how it's placed. It can be very loud, or it can be very subdued.
No, that's an excellent point. It depends what you want to do. I mean, for my Christmas show, I'll be wearing a bright red jacket, but I mean, I'm not going to be wearing that if I'm going to see a client or something like that. Right. It depends what your mood and what your intent is. I mean, you must have some regular customers, people.
I do. I have a whole bunch of people. Have people who order a dress a month. And it's not going to any fancy. I mean, the dress I'm wearing, I mean, it's any dress you wear to church, anywhere, cocktail party, anywhere, just hanging out, right? So I do have a regular dedicated customers. The goal is, if I'm going to be a regional brand, we definitely need to leave Park Avenue. We need to go out.
Yeah.
We need to see everybody. We want everybody to experience a little bit of Ghana in Great Rochester.
I would imagine that you have a mailing list, no?
Yes. Yes, I do have a mail list. Yeah.
You have a newsletter?
I have a newsletter. We send it out twice a month. So sign up for our newsletter, please. And you hear about it right now. We're talking a lot about Fashion Week of Rochester. So for those who don't know, Fashion Week of Rochester is an organization has been doing fashions for the past 13 years.
And where is this held or whatever?
They're going to be held at the Dome Arena in Henrietta. And it's always the second week in October. So this year it starts on October 11th through the 14th. Mansawear has 2 shows, one on the 12th that I always have my customers do the runway. I want them to wear their Mansawear stuff the way they wear it to the runway. And on Saturday the 14th, I unveil my collection at the show.
At the show?
At the show, I unveil my collection at the show. So please sign up for our newsletter so you can hear what's going on. And come visit us, 367 Park Avenue. Really, come sign up, send us an email, come in for a complimentary styling.
Okay, and if they want to call, I'm sure you have a telephone.
We have a phone, 585-267-9960. Once again, it's 585-267-9960. You can also send me an email, Nita, Nita, @mansawear.com.
Okay. Well, it's been delightful having you on the show, and looking forward to having you again and seeing some of those clothes on the other Nita.
Yes. And I want to say to the No Nonsense audience out there, thank you for giving me a chance and hearing my story. I hope you like it. Ask me more questions. Send me I was going to say send me a text. Yeah, send me a text.
Okay.
267-9960, 585 Nita @mansawear.com, www.mansawear.com. 367 Park Avenue. I'll see you there.
And we'll see you next week right here on News Radio Wham 1180.
Thanks for listening. Tune in every weekend from 10 to 11 on News Radio Wham 1180. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll make more.